Fix it in post. These are the words every aspiring director or rookie film student has said in their lifetime. Editing has become the saving grace of production. When all is said and done and reshoots are impossible, the one thing you can do to salvage a dying film is to edit and edit well. There are several well-known films that have been saved by good editors. The 2016 drama mystery film Arrival, Francis Ford Coppola's 1979 movie Apocalypse Now, and even the incredibly popular space opera Star Wars. And when editors are not fixing things in post, they're making what they have amazing, groundbreaking, and breathtaking. When people ask me what I think are the best edited sequences of all time, I think of the cool girl monologue in Gone Girl. I think of the first 10 minutes of the Winds of Winter episode in Game of Thrones. And I think of most opening sequences of the popular Belgian reality TV show, The Mole. Now, I know that reality television isn't commonly talked about in video essays, partly because it is difficult to apply film theories to most reality shows, and mostly because there is a stigma against reality TV in general. However, reality TV is actually a rich, interesting, and important part of pop culture history. It is an example of subjective reality, where the audience looks through a distorted lens, which was created through the process of omission and editing. Now, I have to clarify that when I refer to reality television in this video, I'm not talking about Keeping Up with the Kardashians or Jersey Shore, or what others would call as a post-documentary. When I talk about The Mole, I'm talking about a global event format of reality television like Survivor, Big Brother, and The Amazing Race, so basically game shows. And as far as a global event format reality TV show goes, The Mole is it. Now, the premise of The Mole or The Mole is quite simple. A group of people play multiple challenges to earn money for the money pot. However, one of them is working against them, the mole, and they have to figure out who it is. The nature of each challenge varies. At times, some challenges require the physical prowess of a survivor contestant. Most of the time, they jump between puzzle and strategy games that you see in other reality shows like The Genius or The Amazing Race. After each leg, the players take a quiz guessing the identity of the mole. The quiz is basically a series of questions about their suspected mole, which usually range from "Is your mole a boy or a girl?" to "Where was the mole standing in Challenge 2?" The player who scores the lowest at the end of each episode is eliminated from the show. When it comes to mole hunting or looking for the mole, players each have a different strategy. Some watch and observe other players, some stick to their suspected moles and take note of what they've done, and more seasoned players do what fans call moling, where they act like the mole themselves. And you get to play along in one big game of paranoia. The show originated in Belgium in 1998 and lasted for 3 seasons. There were other international versions in the UK, Australia, and even the US. Funny thing, the first 2 seasons of The Mole US were hosted by none other than Anderson Cooper. The longest running version of The Mole is Wie is the Mole in the Netherlands, which has been running for over 20 seasons. I've watched nearly all versions of The Mole and have followed Wie is the Mole since 2015. While I do find Wie is the Mole or Woodham adequate enough to satisfy my itch for good reality television, it was The Mole that opened my eyes to the power of storytelling and editing in reality TV. And this is why I decided to study it for my channel. I know I normally stick to socio-political and critical analysis of text because that's what I'm used to, but I wanted to try formalism. I want you all to appreciate a show which exceeded my expectations. And sometimes when I watch The Mole, I feel like I'm watching a narrative story made by a good writer and a non-linear editor. For this essay, I will be spoiling some parts of the first challenge of the first episode of the 2020 season of The Mole. And don't worry, you won't be spoiled for a lot. I'll cut the big reveal at the end, so you'll have to watch the episode for yourself. Of course, there are some twists and spoilers here and there, but the basic premise is common knowledge to anyone who searched for the pre-season promo. Oh, and if you're interested to watch The Mole for yourself, I'll link you to a channel with the English translations. Big shout out to Natalia for tediously translating every single line for my consumption and yours. casting interviews aren't normally utilized in reality television, and while it's common to see audition tapes at the start of the series, it's rare to see the second or third callback, which normally reveals more about a player's personality and strategy. Now, considering that the mole is all about becoming intimate with the players, these tapes are often used in the edit or even added to the gameplay. And this is what happens in The Mole 2020. To set the mood, the show first begins with a blurred tracking shot which is moving so quick that it becomes difficult to comprehend the surroundings. The shot then quickly pans upward after establishing the area. Belgium. Approximately 3,000 miles from the actual setting of the season of The Mole. The ominous tone and music are sustained as we transition into a dimly lit surveillance room. We are now forced into an almost voyeuristic point of view, where we get to observe the 10 contestants like guinea pigs in a glass cage. Hills, the host, enters and informs each contestant that they were chosen to be part of the newest season, and that the game has already begun. As he exits, the lights in the interview dim and the camera pans to a mirror in front of them, revealing the very surveillance room we began in, hidden behind a double-sided mirror. That room is now lit with enough light to reveal a shadowy figure looming in front of them. The Mole. The music intensifies and grows louder as each contestant meets the mole. The lighting, which once illuminated the faces of the contestants, now leave them shrouded in shadow. The lack of clarity in light foreshadows not only the preceding events, but also sets the entire mood of the show. When we can't clearly see the intentions of the contestants, how can you trust anyone at all? The mole has a proposition. Who will take it? Then we reach the opening screen. Yeah, so all of that happens within the span of 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Instead of a brief overview of the show's mechanics, we get gameplay. Awesome, amazing, and relevant gameplay which satisfies the craving of die-hard mole fans and piques the interest of new viewers. And before I reveal what the proposition of the mole was, let's go back and break down the season opener. First, the shots. The shots are almost always moving, and that's entirely intentional, especially when it comes to these slow shots which zoom in on Hills and the contestants' faces. They're not automatically noticeable. Now, normally in film, zooming in on your subject or tightening the shot usually means you want to up the tension. This is because viewers are often left feeling uncomfortable or claustrophobic, or trapped. Normally, this is accompanied with a slight tilt of the frame, which is known as the Dutch angle, and when you look at that, there it is. Obviously, these shots are trying to communicate that something is most definitely wrong. Of course, this is complemented by the show's brilliant use of lighting, which I gushed about before this breakdown because I have absolutely no self-control. But other than that, and this is a crucial part of the video essay, we have the editing. Now, this 2-minute scene follows basic editing rules. Longer cuts during the build-up, quicker cuts when it approaches the climax. As the tension rises, so does the tightness in each shot. It's textbook. We start to see this sequence with an establishing shot that grows tighter and tighter over time. And as for the coloring, this opening uses a subtle channel blur, which foreshadows the perspective of the mole in the room, as if we're gazing through the surveillance screen they're watching. And at the same time, it shines in its brilliant scoring. The mole doesn't make its own scores, instead it pulls from existing movies. Now, I don't know if that's legal, but it certainly helps the overall atmosphere of the show when the music you use is already established and associated with tones and moods. Sadly, I could not identify the exact score used in this particular scene, but in the first challenge, a familiar song plays. The Gone Girl Cool Monologue score. Now, this unsettling electronic music reminds me of everything Gone Girl: manipulation, distrust, paranoia, and just a general feeling of something going deeply wrong. Something that's very calculated. Just like Amy Dunn, someone is scheming and pulling the strings for everything to happen just the way they want. Sure, at times they're confronted by the surprising wits and intelligence of the other 9, Nick Duns, but for the most part, they are in control. So the score being played as Hills explains the mechanics of a game that's meant to be sabotaged is brilliant. But my favorite part of the editing of the show is how it elevates storytelling and narrative structure. Unlike fictional media that mostly relies on the script, editing plays a crucial role in the storytelling of a reality show. It defines a show's narrative structure and allows for stories to unfold in organic, compelling, and interesting ways. And the mole mastered the art of telling brilliant stories and character arcs. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at the cold opening of episode 1. As I mentioned earlier, the mole makes a game-changing proposition to the contestants. Then they cut to the opening sequence without telling us. This leaves us clueless, and the paranoia we feel bleeds into the first challenge. Because we don't know what the mole offered to the players, we're forced to watch them even more closely than you normally would. What was the deal, and how has this affected the way they play the game?
Met jou doen, Bruno, jij ervoor over hebben om niet in de eerste aflevering af te vallen.
In de groep verwerkt te krijgen, denk ik dat 5000 aanvaardbaar zou zijn.
Dat gaan we eens concreet. Hier boven mij hangt een geldklok. Die zal zo meteen starten met lopen. Als je wil bieden op de eerste vrijstelling, zeg je stop op het bedrag dat jij kiest.
Ja,
duidelijk?
Duidelijk.
So yeah, the highest bidder wins immunity for the first episode. And now we get to see who bid the highest. Yeah, no, we still don't. I won't spoil anything else for you in the event you do end up watching the show for yourself, but you have to understand that very few shows play with narrative structure in the way The Mole does. Sure, from time to time, some will think of quirky reveals and tension-building sequences, but never have I seen a show do something so effective and compelling consistently. The episode's big narrative comes to a close at the very end of the challenge. After a breathtaking challenge, which, by the way, I won't spoil or explain in detail because I want to give you even more reason to watch the show, the team reaches a very high point. Victory. They get the maximum amount of money possible for the pot. And they celebrate. Until they don't. And the final reveal is made and woof. Just woof. All in all, there are a lot of reasons the show is so fun and amazing. Whether you come in here looking for the gameplay, or for a great cast, or fantastic cinematography, or inspiration for your latest editing and production excursion, or just something new to pique your interest after you've watched everything on Netflix, The Mole will not disappoint you. I cannot recommend this show enough to anyone. It is a reality show that changes the genre, one well-told story at a time. So, thanks for watching my video essay. It is... Well, I wasn't sure if I was gonna release this video because everything's kind of weird now, but I hope this takes your mind off things for a bit and gives you something new to do. I won't keep this long, just I hope you're safe, and I hope everything's going fine with you and your family and your friends or your significant others. And if you like this channel, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment and like it, I guess. It'll mean a lot to me. I don't know if I'll be putting a lot of content out while this quarantine is happening, but I'll definitely try for you guys. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!